Who do you want at number 2? Said, let's just talk draft. Browns are picking second. You're laughing. Come on, I know you. There's somebody you want. Yeah. Who do you want, Cedric Tillman?
I mean, I don't really know. I don't really know. We all know who the top guys are out there. Rather we get help on the offensive side of the ball, on the defensive side of the ball, or whatever. Whoever we get at 2, I trust an organization is definitely going to help our team out.
Congratulations. You made it. We made it. Collectively, the NFL draft media industry has made it to draft week. And we are here, and we are happy, and we are ready to turn in the stinking card. This is the best podcast available at the home office, at least for now. We might do the switcho changeo thing midway through this pod. See if you can pick it up when we actually do it. My name is Andrew Siciliano, back at the Cross Country Mortgage Campus in beautiful Berea. And I'm told it's actually beautiful this week. Gibby, that's what you promised me. Jason.
70 degrees,
Jason
baby. 70
Gibbs,
degrees.
I can't
Let's go.
wait to see you.
It's going to be good, man. Guardians with some big home games this week. I'm assuming that maybe you try to catch one once you come to our palatial estates. Yeah?
It's tough with the schedule.
Maybe.
I mean, we're going to be burning the midnight oil. We're going to be working around the clock with the draft. So I don't know.
What time is
the Gardos game? Wednesday is a matinee as we record this on Tuesday after the opening of the Cam Smith closer era on Monday night.
Yeah.
You made a face. You made a face. Hold on.
I believe someone on this podcast might have had that.
This is not Gardos talk, but while we're here, let's pay homage. Got my Tom Hamilton talking bobblehead here.
I don't think the mic picked that up whatsoever.
Really? Let's try it again. Hold on. Let's try it again. You got that?
There it is. There it is.
It's always good to beat the Yankees. It's better when it's in October, not in April. But I digress. Let's get to the draft. As we record this, 2 things are happening. Number 1, the hay is, for the most part, in the barn, you would have to think. Boards are set. In terms of, you know who you like, right?
Yes.
Your board is set. We know that. No trades have been made, and everyone still has their first-round pick, including the Browns at number 2. That's on one side. On the other side, the Browns social team and content team out and up bright and early this morning with cameras and iPhones at the ready to capture the smiling faces of people like Joe Flacco and Greg Newsome and Denzel Ward and Mahmoud Diabate back in the building. Gibbe, the off-season program has begun. Now, people say, well, when can I see Joe Flacco throwing passes? You're not going to, because that's not what this is. This is not field work. This is just working out. So be prepared for more Myles Garrett shirtless videos doing things in the gym that you can't even possibly wrap your head around. There's a lot of that. But what it does signal is that football is slowly but surely, forget about the draft, getting here because the kids are back at school.
The ball is starting to roll slowly at the top of the hill. And it gets a little faster. It gets a little faster. And then we just roll right in, and away we go for the 2025 season. I mean, this is the first phase of this offseason program. A reminder to everybody, it is voluntary.
It is voluntary.
No one has to be here until June, technically, for mandatory minicamp. So for the next 7 to 8 weeks, we just start ramping up to the start of the 2025 season. Going back to what you said, I don't think the Browns are ready to turn in that card yet. Andrew Berry last night, or on Monday night, I should say, on the draft preview show on the Browns Radio Network, not ready to turn the card in yet. We're still going through some things. And I know there have been plenty of reports out there. Adam Schefter reporting that the Browns made an inquiry to try to move up to number 1. Again, it's silly season, so take things for what's coming out and where it's coming out from. But Peter Schrager, now from ESPN, reporting this morning that the Browns are fielding calls. So are the Giants for pick 2 or pick number 3. I think a lot of things still on the table. I agree with you that they know who they want at certain positions. but all the mock drafts are done. AB said it last night. We're done with the simulations and everything. Everything's done, but where they pick and if they pick it to be determined, I think.
Interesting. I would also say this, and this is to not shoot down what you just said, but just to add context, which you obviously know, and I think everyone knows, but I just want to pump the brakes a little bit on the idea that somebody is fielding a call or somebody made a call. Put on your fantasy football cap. You've called up your buddy. Usually it's a text chain, or maybe you side text because you don't want everyone else to see it. And you say, hey, would you ever trade so and so? Because that's what you do. GM's jobs are the same. It's their job to answer the phone. As a matter of fact, it's a dereliction of duty if they don't answer the phone and listen. And it's a GM's job to pick up the phone to go, hey, roll with me here. What if we did this? Would that interest you? Just to see. And the prepared GMs, which no doubt Andrew Berry is, have their scenarios ready. And you don't want to be surprised when you're on the clock. Now, you may be surprised that somebody took a player in front of you. You may be surprised that somebody jumped you. That happens, right? But you don't want to be surprised when you get to a position and somebody calls and makes a trade offer, because you've usually walked these through. And that's what you talked about. That's what AB talked about on Monday, is playing through all these scenarios so that you aren't beaten by the clock. Right? You have everything prepared and you've reasoned through all the scenarios. I look, my gut tells me they're not trading. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And you go ahead and play this. It's fine. I don't think I would trade. I'd have to be blown away. And here's why. This is give me just my opinion. There's a reasonably short list. Joe Flacco's in the building, so I'm going to use the word elite, using an old trope. There's a relatively short list of quote-unquote elite players in this draft. And when you hear that, Team X wants to trade down, that's great. Somebody has to want to trade up. Usually teams trade up for a quarterback. In this case, teams may trade up for a quarterback, or they may trade up for the very short-listed elite players, like an Ashton Genty, maybe even like an Omarion Hampton, like one of the tight ends, and there's love for Loveland over Tyler Warren in some circles right now. Sorry, Buckeye fans. There's a very short list. So if you trade down, and if you are the Browns looking to potentially take somebody's offer and move a little bit, you don't want to move far at all. There is, I think, a greater likelihood of the Browns at 33 with the number one pick in the second round Friday night. And I think Friday's more fun than Thursday. I think Friday's going to be wild. I think there's a trade a minute on Friday, because that's when you have your second group of quarterbacks and you have teams maybe going on that run. No, look, maybe the run happens at 8-9. Maybe somebody gets ahead of the Saints. I don't know. I think the run happens in the second round. But anyway, backtracking, I think the Browns are more likely to move from that pick, just me, Gibbe, than they are from 2.
I would agree. I think the Browns are more than content, and they know who they're going to go pick at number 2. This is all based on if Tennessee taking Cam Ward. Now, if Tennessee surprises us all and doesn't take Cam Ward, then the dominoes fall a little bit. It would be. I don't think anybody would see that coming. I think we are so ingrained for the last month that this is the guy that Tennessee is drafting. I think for anything else, it would be very shocking.
It would shock me. Now, that said, if it happened, I'd be happy. Like, you will see me running circles around the cross-country mortgage campus. Like, I will be that happy because I think Cam Ward is that guy. I truly do. Now, have I talked myself into that? Of course, that's what we do. the NFL draft media industrial complex here. That's what we do between the end of the bowl games, which seemed like 5 years ago, and now. That's what we do. But if it were to happen, okay. So I put a tweet. I sent a tweet out on Monday about what would happen if the Browns were to trade at 33. I just want to make something clear. I am not predicting, nor do I have some kind of unique insight or privileged information that they're going to trade at 33. But history dictates that trade could happen because the last 3 consecutive drafts, the 33rd pick has been moved. Sometimes it's someone getting out. Sometimes it's a team moving up. But just want to lay it out here because it's a lot cheaper than somehow the Browns trading up to 1, which isn't going to happen, or some kind of other trade within the first round. So last year was kind of a silly one. If you remember, Gibe, the Panthers are picking 33rd, same pick the Browns have. They wanted a 5th year, or they were afraid Buffalo was going to take Xavier Legette, the guy that loves raccoon at Thanksgiving. And they went from 33 to 32. So they just moved up to the final pick of the first round, and they moved with Buffalo. Buffalo moved back to 33, took Keon Coleman. The Panthers moved up to 32 and took Xavier Legette. And it was a 5-6 pick swap. That's it. Right? So if the Browns wanted to move up with Philadelphia and somehow get a 5th year potentially for a quarterback there, it's a reasonably cheap move. Now, if they want to move up and get a quarterback, it's going to be more expensive. That happened in 2023. Tennessee moved up to 33. Arizona had 33. Tennessee moved up from 41 to 33 to take Will Levis. They did a 3rd round pick swap, just like 9 picks difference. And then they threw in an extra 3. So it cost Tennessee to go from 41 to 33, 8 spots. It cost them a 3rd round pick. That's a lot.
It's a pretty valuable pick in this year's draft.
Yeah.
2nd and 3rd round picks are big this year.
So that was a 3rd round pick for Tennessee to move up to 33. So potentially if the Browns would have moved down, they could get a 3rd there. And then the move that I think everyone, I don't want to say assumes, but a lot of your mocks, and I think you and I agree on this, have looked at the possibility of the Browns moving up from 33 into the 5th round and making a somewhat sizable jump up. And that's what the Jaguars did, but not for a quarterback in 2022. They went up to 27. Moderate move. That's where Washington is right now, I believe. They went up to 27 from 33, and they took linebacker Devin Lloyd from Utah. It wasn't expensive. They gave up a 4 and a 6. That's it. Now, there wasn't a lot of competition for that move. This year, I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to cost you more because there likely will be other teams that want to make that move, and it'll be for a quarterback, and the price will go up.
Yeah, I wonder if the majority of trades in this first round happen between pick number 20 and pick number 31, 32. Yeah. You know, I mean, is that where you're trying to get one of those quarterbacks that you feel like you can develop, but you feel like you're going to need all 5 years potentially to do that?
Jalen Milroe, Jackson Dart, I'll just throw some quarterback names out there, are both seen by most as quarterbacks that need extra time in the lab. Jackson Dart, he's got a nice release. I mean, he's put some good stuff on tape. He's won some big games, also thrown some big picks in some big games at big moments. But considering the offense he ran there, the group think is he needs a little bit of time. Jalen Milroe definitely needs time. Now, you can throw him in there, and he'll be the most dynamic running quarterback in football, not named Lamar Jackson. AB suggested, others have suggested, maybe even more dynamic than Lamar Jackson. But as a starting quarterback, as a guy that you can rely on to consistently deliver the ball short, medium, and deep down the field with accuracy, with timing, no. It needs a lot of time. But Jalen Milroe, and I'll just go with what Daniel Jeremiah said, Jalen Milroe runs the ball better than any quarterback in this draft throws the ball. It is that good. If you put on his run tape, go to PFF and go, sort through everything. You can actually just show me the runs. It will blow you away. He's out of the pocket. Oh, he's downfield. Oh, he doesn't have the angle. There's 5 guys there. Oh, my God, he's in the end zone. And that happens over and over and over again. But those guys need time. And so to your point, trading up into if they were to do it, just throwing it out there, trading up into the first round to get that 5th year actually has a lot of value.
Yeah. I mean, by the way, if you want to package up all of our 6th round picks, great.
4 of them.
Perfect. Yeah.
4 of
great. I don't need 4 6th-rounders on Saturday. That's a lot of work.
And for the people that say you gave up a 5, a 5th for Kenny Pickett, myself being one of them, you can package a couple of 6th and get back into the 5th. You can do that.
I would agree with that.
Okay, you had some draft scenarios you want to throw at me?
Yeah, let's have a little fun. You ready?
Let's do it, Donkey.
All right. Over under trades on Thursday night, 4.5.
I'm going to take the under. Like I said, I think the action is Friday. I think the action Friday is going to look like a boiler room. I think it's going to be a market sell-off. It's going to be people screaming and yelling on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Not necessarily trying to get out, but teams trying to get up. I truly do think that's what Friday looks like. Thursday,
odds.
I don't know.
Yeah. Odds that there's a trade made in the top 10. What percentage would you put it at?
I'm going to cop out and say 50-50. I know that's weak. This is not a particularly deep offensive tackle class, nor O-line in general. So if a run happens at offensive tackle, or is there a run? Does somebody try to get up there? I think it also depends. Is anyone willing to trade up for like Tet McMillan, the Arizona wide receiver, if Matthew Golden goes ahead of him, which many people do believe? And the sneaky under the radar one is the backs, the running backs. Like I was on with Bo and Nathan last week. I've lost track of time. And I said, Travion Henderson, he ain't going to be there at 33. Does someone make a move for the third back? And is it Travion? That wouldn't surprise me. There's some inflection points. Carolina at 8, right in front of New Orleans, and then Denver at 20, right in front of Pittsburgh. Those are target points where I think a lot of teams think they may have to get whomever it is that they want. And with the Saints, real quick here, I'm not going to use the T word, the tank word. We all lived, you guys there, me from afar, through a winless season. Don't wish it upon anybody.
No.
But just
I do on certain teams in our
certain
division,
teams
but
that might
fine.
be picking 21st. If you try to wrap your head around what the Saints are looking at. If the reports are true and Derek Carr is lost for the season, do you love one of the quarterbacks enough to take them at 9? Or are you just going to roll with Spencer Rattler, and go 2026 will get here soon? Like, I don't know. Therefore, what happens there at 8 and 9, to your point about trades? I have no idea.
All right. From a running back standpoint, speaking of running backs, do more running backs get drafted than wide receivers in round 1 on Thursday?
Yes.
Ooh. Do more running backs get drafted in the first round than QBs?
That's a good one. Do more running backs get drafted? I'm repeating it to think about it. Do more running backs get drafted than? I'm going to say yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. You don't get your money back on these are not guaranteed.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. You're good. We're good. We're having a little
this
fun.
Podcast
We're not allowed to gamble.
Yep.
Yeah. Which QB from this group goes first? Shedeur Sanders, Jalen Milroe, Jackson Dart, or Tyler Shuck, who many teams have as the top QB on their board?
I'm actually going to say Shedeur. I thought a week ago it was Jackson Dart, and it could still very well be. Just a funny thing happens when you get on the clock. I don't think this is a, Kenny Pickett and Malik. And I don't think this is like the Desmond Ridder. They all fall to the third round draft. I don't. I think that once they get on the clock, the quarterbacks are going to go. And I'm just going to say Shedeur now because all it takes is one. And I think there will be one. The guy has played enough good football. He is a good quarterback. If his name were Bob Smith, there's two ways to look at this. Either we're not clutching pearls here and having these screaming head conversations on TV if his name is Bob Smith. The flip side of that is if his name is Bob Smith, he might be evaluated with a third-round grade, right? So both can be true, but I think all it takes is one and somebody will take them.
Do the Browns make more picks on offense or defense this weekend?
So I know if Nathan were answering this, he would only want offensive picks, right?
Offense.
Weapons. Okay. Like I could tell him, hey, Nathan, they're taking Lawrence Taylor at 2. Weapons. Nathan,
that's
they're
right.
taking Myles Garrett's.
See, we woke Fila up from his little slumber.
Taking Myles Garrett's twin brother, Michael. I don't think he has a twin brother, Michael. And he's just as good. And he's 8 years younger. Weapons! Anyway, I digress. Do you remember the Panthers a bunch of years ago took only defensive players?
I do remember.
The Falcons this year only sent defensive coaches to the combine. Wow. Could you bluff any harder than that? I think the Browns do take more offensive than defensive players, but let's not act as if this defense does not have holes. JOK's situation is still nebulous, to quote Andrew Berry. You could use another pass rusher. You could use another tackle. The situation at corner, I hear all the talking heads on TV say, they're set at corner. They have very good corners. It's, however, getting to a contract point for MJ Emerson. And Greg Newsome, speaking of contracts, is playing on his 5th-year option. So there are definite draft needs on defense. Good front offices draft a year ahead. I'm going to lean offense for now, but I think what I would say is with all those 6th-round picks, don't be surprised if some of those 6th-round picks get turned into 2026 draft selections.
Perfect.
Yep.
Good. Awesome. Final one, real quick. Browns draft week bold prediction. Do you have one?
Browns draft week bold prediction. Sure. I think people will be happy. I know that's bold. That's a very bold prediction. If they stay at 2 and they pick at 2, and look, these might be my famous last words. It's hard to screw up, okay? They're going to get a good player. And if it's Shador, it's Shador. We will all get behind the excitement of having a young quarterback. I know a lot of fans, and I'm not telegraphing it. I'm not trying to tell you what they're going to do. A lot of fans have already gotten off that train, right? But if that is the train, hey, you got the young quarterback. Let's ride. Okay. If it's Abdul Carter, friends Myles Garrett and Abdul Carter on opposite sides, chasing Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow and QB to be named later in Pittsburgh. Unleash the dogs. Let them eat. That will be amazing. You will learn to love it. And if it's Travis Hunter, where's the good fishing holes around here? Let's go teach him where he can be happy here and fish here, and just watch his wide receiver tape and watch his cornerback tape and understand he's as talented a human being to come out in this draft in years, and he'll be wearing a Browns jersey. If they stick and pick, and it's one of those 3, which I think it would be, you can't go wrong. Just be happy. And I'm not trying to break into Pharrell here, but just breathe and let it be. Cedric Tillman, we're back in the building. It's not really football. You're not playing football. You're not practicing. You're not on the field, but you're back, man. How's it feel?
It feels good, being able to come back to the city, being able to see the guys, the coaches, everybody in the building. We're all excited to be back here.
Personally for you, with the way your season ended, missing those final 6 games, is it a little more special to be back here?
Absolutely. Obviously, I missed the rest of last year due to an injury, so, just putting a chip on my back, and I'm more motivated now than ever.
I know you want to look forward, not look back, but grant me that here for a minute. What were those 6 weeks like? Because we kept hearing you had the concussion against the Steelers, obviously. You're so close. Maybe Ced's back this week. No, he's going to be back next week. And then you never got through the protocol. What was that like for you?
It was frustrating because I wanted to be out there more than ever. I felt like the offense, the passing, we were doing so good. But, unfortunately, it just played out that way, but I'm excited to be back.
I was rude. I should have asked. Do you feel okay? Are you good?
I'm 100% okay, everybody. I'm good. I'm ready to go.
You're 100% and you're 100% ready to pick up really where you left off. Said when Jameis took over there, full-time, Week 8, you had the 2 touchdowns against the Ravens. Said, by the way, starring on the Bark Tank podcast there, talking about his touchdown celebrations. We need some more of those. You had hit your stride. Like the light went on. How ready are you to pick that back up?
I'm ready to turn it up even more, honestly. I feel like I was really just getting comfortable out there. So, just try to, last year is done, but, obviously just want to build up upon what I did and looking forward to this year.
How do you feel about Joe Flacco coming back?
And I was excited, man. I was like, man, we got Joe back. So, it's good to have his veteran presence in here. We all know what Joe can do, and we're all excited.
Seriously, when you looked at your phone that morning, your reaction was?
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get it. Everybody was like, oh, you guys are getting Joe back. You guys are getting Joe back. So, like I said, me and Joe, he was here 2 years ago. So, kind of have a connection already. So, I'm looking forward to it.
And I know we talked a lot about what you did with Jameis last year midseason when he took over. If you go back to your rookie year, to your point, when Joe took over, officially the L.A. game down the stretch, your targets kept going up and up and up and up.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like I said, I think me and Joe have a pretty good connection, and, we have all this time to just keep developing that.
Dorian's not in the building. Got to ask you about that. How's that feel?
Obviously, it sucks just because, I was my best friend. We grew up together, but, he has a different opportunity. He's with the Eagles, and I'm here with the Browns, and, we're both happy with our teams.
What is this offense going to feel like? I know it's day 1 here, or day 2, right? I mean, you just got back in the building. But does it feel a little bit like 2023 again?
Yeah, absolutely. We know last year, especially on the offensive side of the ball, that wasn't acceptable from the penalties, from just the production. So, like I said, it's putting a chip on all our back to really not put that on film again.
Tommy Rees, OC. What's that going to be like?
Man, it's going to be exciting. I'm really excited for him. Like I said, we got all great coaches. We all trust them.
Who do you want at number 2? Ced, let's just talk draft. Browns are picking 2nd. You're laughing. Come on, I know you. There's somebody you want.
Yeah.
Who do you want, Cedric Tillman?
I mean, I don't really know. I don't really know. We all know who the top guys are out there. Rather we get help on the offensive side of the ball, on the defensive side of the ball, or whatever. Whoever we get at 2, I trust an organization is definitely going to help our team out.
Okay. Just work with me here.
Okay.
The idea of Cedric Tillman, Jerry Jeudy, Travis Hunter, what do you think of that?
I feel like it's a lot of touchdowns.
A lot of touchdowns.
I feel like it's a lot of touchdowns.
Could you deal with that?
Can they deal with that?
Are there enough footballs to go around?
Yeah, there's enough footballs to go around.
Would you also lobby to play corner if he were here?
Would I lobby to play corner?
Yeah.
Or can he play corner?
No, I think he would play corner. Would you want to play?
I can't. I would leave that to him. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a corner, but, I just play receiver. I catch the ball.
In all seriousness, how hard would that be? Isn't that wild?
I would like to see it. Obviously he's a great athlete, a great player, so I'm rooting for him.
We're taping this, full disclosure, on Wednesday. So if it isn't Travis Hunter, it isn't Travis Hunter. We don't know. We're just talking about the possibility. You read the same things I read. Are you going in there, however, and pounding the table for your Tennessee guys, whether it's Sampson or Pierce or whomever? Do you want those guys here?
Of course. I would obviously love to have, guys I've already played with college for. But, obviously that's not, my decision. But, I believe we're going to bring in the best guys possible.
We do want to talk about your offseason, though. I was scrolling through IG. You did some European travel. Spain, how was that?
Yeah, I went to Spain. I got an opportunity to go to Barcelona with some friends, and it was a really good time. That was my first time in Europe. Got to see the culture, got to go to a soccer game, and got to shop around a little bit. So I had a great time.
FC Barcelona, what was that like?
It was great. I mean, I've never been to a soccer game, so to go to there, for that to be my first experience, I think it was like 4-0 in like 10 minutes. So I didn't even know that happened in soccer, but that was really cool to see.
Did you play soccer as a kid?
Yeah, I played for like 2-3 years, and I was like, nah, I'm not doing this no more.
You weren't any good?
I was so young. I don't
You were the best.
Yeah, I was probably the most athletic one out there.
Okay.
So probably I was the best one.
After we get done here, obviously there's the OTAs, the mandatory minicamp. Do you have anything else planned for your summer before training camp?
I don't know. Like I said, it's a big year, not only for me but for the team. So, try to get my fun out, in the spring and stuff like that. So now when we get back, we're just rolling.
Okay, so if he goes to a soccer game, it'll be in Columbus, or there was a good one here.
There you go. There you go.
Field a couple of days ago. Cedric Tillman, good to see you. Good to see that you're feeling well, and can't wait to see you back out there on the field.
Thank you for having me.
Cedric Tillman, everybody. We will have a best podcast available after the draft. Again, I don't know that it's Travis Hunter, but whomever it is, that player, first-round pick, is set to join us on the next one. For Jason Gibbs, for Cedric Tillman, I'm Andrew Siciliano. So long, everybody.